Well, hey everybody, and welcome back to Kiki's Kitchen. Today we are going to make some beef with broccoli. Now again, I've made this for you before, but it's been a while, and sometimes I'm not sure, I had a brief period of time where I did things for YouTube and I'm not able to recapture those videos. I think I did this for you on Facebook, but it's probably been a year, and it's time to repeat it, is the short story. So tonight, so this afternoon actually, I'm going to make the beef and broccoli, and I'll put it in a casserole dish and just reheat it for dinner tonight. So I'll have my dinner out of the way this afternoon while I have some time. What I thought I would do is, you can do this certainly with frozen broccoli. You can do this with broccoli florets already cut up for you. But the most economical way to do this is to buy broccoli crowns, or even broccoli, whichever way that it's on sale that week. Typically, like this broccoli, this is $1.50 for all of this broccoli. So for all of this broccoli is $3. You won't get that, you certainly won't get as much broccoli if you get it frozen. And if you get it frozen, you need to make sure that you take it out that morning, let it sit in the sink in a colander and thaw and get all of that moisture out of it. But the most economical way that you want to do this, if you're looking at doing things economically, is to buy it like this. And I'm going to show you how to trim it. This is actually right out of and what I did was I took the whole thing upside down in cold water and ran it under here to get it rinsed off and washed good. So now this, I'm going to cut it close up here because I really want the florets mostly in this particular dish. However, you see this? This is good stuff. Now I will cut the end off of it, which I wouldn't even have to because I'm not going to use it right now. But this is great for your vegetable soups. So what you can do with that, I'm not making vegetable soup today, but I can take this and put all of those in a Ziploc and freeze them for when I am using it, or when I need a vegetable filler in something else. So now we've got them this big. That's a little bit too big. If you think about beef and broccoli, you want to have, because that will cook down and be on your fork nicely. So just go through here. Now, yes, does this take a little bit more than a minute than opening your frozen? And you know what? If you've got the time and you've got the dime, do it. But if you are looking to do things a little bit more economically, this is an area that you can save and get your money's worth out of. So again, I'm going to cut that bottom piece off because I don't like that. And then I'll just cut them apart. And I'll show you if you have any leaves like that, you want to get rid of them. But just cut them into big chunks. And so here, like for instance, leaf. You don't want that leaf, so just get rid of it. Then cut it up as closely to the base as you can. And then go in and just cut them into, again, what you're looking for are bite-sized pieces. Now, I'm going to roast this. A lot of people, when they make this, they just steam it, and that's fine. But to me, whenever you roast a vegetable, you get more flavor from it. It's the caramelization, I think, that does it. So that's what I'm going to do. And because I have the time. I'm telling you, I understand. You working mothers, my hat's off to you, truly. It's not just getting the kids around. I think the biggest part of being a mother is laundry. That's the truth. Yes, lending a helpful ear, being at every single sporting event there is, every choral event there is. All of those things are a great part of being a good parent, but they're all hard. But the one thing that is constant and never leaves you is laundry. And if you've got just 2 children, if you've got more than 2 children, oh my goodness, but if you got 2 children, that's 4 people in your family. If you have that, that's a lot of laundry. That's got to be done every day. If it's not done every day, then you get a long weekend. So as I babble on, and I don't need to. I'm gonna finish cutting these up, and then I will come back to you when this pan is full. Hang in there. Okay, so everything's all cut up and nice and drained, and you see the pieces. Now, don't be afraid of a piece that big, because these will shrink down. And so you don't want to cut them tiny, because they'll shrink away to nothing. So I've got just a little bit of granulated garlic. I got this, I believe, at Walmart. I know everyone's always looking for it. Costco has it. No, this one actually is from Costco, granulated garlic. It's one of the very few things that I don't have a Costco close by. So I get, when I go, I get the things that I absolutely love from there, and granulated garlic and foil pans. And this actually, although this isn't, but I like the Kirkland's brand olive oil. I like their frozen shrimp. So when I go, those are the things that I'm looking for. I'm not putting salt and pepper on this yet, because it is an Asian, it's beef and broccoli, and it's got soy sauce in it, and that's got a lot of salt in it. And so I will hold off on salting the roasted part for later. So I want to get these spread out so that they're not stacked on each other, so that they're laying as flat as possible. And the reason for that is I want them to roast, and I want them to get a little char on them. I want that caramelization. And if they're stacked on top of each other, they will steam, and then they get soggy, and I don't want that, because I am going to be putting them in a sauce, but I want that flavor of the caramelization. So there they are, very, very pretty. And in there, going to go into a 400-degree oven, and I will time it, but I'm going to tell you, it's probably going to be a good 25 minutes. So I will see you then. And actually, I will be back before then, because I want to get my meat prepared. So while this does that, we'll work on the meat. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, next up are our scallions. So you want to clean them. See that little hairy top? You want to cut that off. So I just kind of lay them all side by side and take one swipe at it. Well, you would think it was easier said than done. Maybe two. Depends on how unruly they are, curled up they are. I've already washed them, of course. I want to cut down into the green, because I want that green in my dish. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to look for any kind of wilted leaves. That looks like maybe it's about the only one. So now I'm going to cut these. What have I got? I've got 5. I've got about 10. And it just depends. Some of them are thick, some of them are thin, whatever. But I want to cut them on an angle. Again, about bite-sized pieces. And I want the greens too. That looks good to me. So I'll put them back in this foil pan until we need them. So our broccoli is in broccoli. So now we're going to prepare, it's roasting. I have some garlic here that I've already peeled. I haven't cut the ends off yet, but we'll get there in a minute. So now what I have, you can use flank steak for this, or you can use top round, bottom round. This is just round steak. I'm telling you, so this was $7.44 a pound. Flank steak, and it's speechless. Flank steak here was almost $13 a pound. It's flank steak. I didn't get the memo when these things started going crazy. So I'm using round steak. Now, it's cut thin. You see that? And I'm still gonna even pound it thinner. But I want you to be able to look at this and see the grain in this meat. The grain is going this way. So, you can see it. If it's your piece of meat, you can see which way the grain is going. And I want you to cut this against the grain, because whenever you cut any meat against the grain, it makes it more tender right out of the get-go. So I'm gonna cut this into thin strips, and then I'm actually gonna pound it. Truth is, I should have pounded it first. And truth is, that's what I'm gonna do. Don't even know what I'm thinking. Forgive me. You can see when I get out of sync from doing my videos, I lose my mind slightly. It would be much easier if I pounded this first and then sliced it. Hello? Don't ask me. And I'm not going to give it a huge pound anyway, but and I'm not going to make you listen to that mess. I'll be back in a second. Okay, take two. So I'm going to go back again, and again, here's my grain. My grain is going this way. So I want to cut it against the grain. Just nice strips. Go. I'm going to dump this into this ziplock that I pounded it in. Here's my second piece, which I already pounded. Oh gosh, sometimes get it cut up. Almost done. There we go. I'm going to take a few of these longer ones and cut them in half. Looks good to me. All right, I can smell that broccoli. Always a sure sign you're going in the right direction. So to this, I'll rinse my hands off here a minute. We're going to add some cornstarch. Cornstarch gives it that really crispy edge that you have whenever, you know, you order. This is basically Chinese takeout at home. So, this is going to give you that kind of crispy element that you get on the meat when you get Chinese food. So, and I think the recipe calls for about 1/3 of a cup. I know I need some cornstarch. About out. So we're going to use all I have, which should be plenty. And I can always supplement that with some flour if I need to. But I think I'm probably need. So I'm going to let this just kind of sit in here until I'm ready for it. Put that aside. Then last thing I'm going to do is make my sauce. So when we come to assembling this, all we're going to do is we're going to take some oil. I'm going to use some canola oil because I want to cook it quickly, and so I want to cook it at a high heat. So my olive oil is not going to get be the one I want to use, because olive oil won't take the heat that canola or avocado oil, which if I had some, I would use it, but canola is what I'm going to use. So all we're going to do is brown that off, and once that is browned off, we're going to add these onions to it and let that cook together with it also, and then we're going to pour sauce on it and add the broccoli. Boom, we're going to be done. So hang in there. Okay, so our broccoli is done, and I want you to see how nice and charred that is. That is such a great caramelization. And see on the top of that, how that's nice and it's all caramelized. Now, honestly, my husband will eat this just like this as a snack. He loves this. I'm gonna put it aside for a moment. However, you don't have to do that. Like I said, you can open frozen broccoli. I'm just showing you that really does lend another layer of flavor, right? So we are going to make the sauce, which is very, very easy. What I have in here is I have a cup of soy sauce and a cup of water. And I am going to, well, actually, tell you the truth, first, to my saucepan here, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons, I believe, yes, of olive oil. And 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. The sesame oil obviously gives it an incredible flavor. Let me see if I can open this other one one-handed. What do you think? Before I start spilling it. Here we go. And 2. And I'm going to get the heat going on that. And I'm going to add some, now you can dice this. This is fresh garlic. I'm being lazy. I'm not cutting the ends off of it. I'm just going to go ahead and mince it and be done with it. So I'm going to add some minced garlic in here, and I'm going to cook it until it becomes fragrant. And you know, with garlic, I always tell you that, you know, it burns quickly. Hang on a second, I want to get this out of there. And so you've got to have, that's why I've got my liquid at the ready, because as soon as you introduce liquid to it, it will stop cooking. It won't burn. So I've got my liquid all measured out. I have a cup of water and a cup of soy. So let me get that going. I have a cup of brown sugar here, and I want to get some roasted red pepper flakes, which is an option. If you don't like it spicy, then you just leave that out. Let's clear up some of this stuff. And you want to get this underway before you do your meat, because the meat doesn't take all that long, and actually neither does this garlic. I mean, it's almost instantly that it comes up. And oh my goodness, the smell with the sesame oil is awesome. So I am going to add in my soy sauce and my water, because it takes just that long, just a few seconds, to infuse that oil with the garlic flavor and let it, because we don't want it to get, you know, brown at all. So I'm adding a cup of brown sugar to that. And I'm going to stir that until it dissolves, and I'm going to bring it to a gentle bubble. So that's going to take just a second. I want to stir that around because, brown sugar will burn too. So I'm going to switch out my pans here. I'm going to put this one over here and let it get going while I get my meat rolling here. So my Rachel Red, you know I love to see her back. I usually have this closed, just like that as a backdrop better. Now to this I'm going to use, because I'm going to be frying this, I'm going to use, that's probably about 3 tablespoons of canola, or a light oil that you would use for frying. I'm going to bring that up to temperature. Get rid of this. Oh, and you know what I did not put in here is I didn't put in a teaspoon of ginger. If you have fresh ginger, that's great. I don't have fresh ginger. And you know, a lot of times I do get it and keep it in the freezer. Oops, too much will kill you. So I got a teaspoon of ginger in there. And I would have used about 1 inch of it. But I don't have any, so ground ginger works. And a little red pepper flake. Or a lot, depending. We like it a little spicier than most. That looks good. All right, clearing the deck, clearing the deck. Let me stir this all together. And this, we're just gonna bring this to a boil and then reduce it to a little simmer. And that's when while that happens, we're gonna go ahead and cook the steak. This all whisked together. And remember, this is our steak that we put in here with our cornstarch. Been sitting here waiting patiently. Move this stuff out of the way. Get some tongs out. I want this, which it's looking pretty good. Yep, and in it goes with a nice sizzle. You gotta like that. Put it in here. Trying to get them separated. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to actually get an apron. Okay, I have my second batch in here. My first batch is seared off. That's what I'm doing, is just searing it. So I've got my second batch in here. Let me turn this heat back up a little bit. And I'm going to add my scallions at this point and let them cook in here with my second batch. I'm going to return this first batch, and then I'm going to add the sauce to it and the broccoli to it, and that's going to be that. And it is, like I said, Chinese takeout at home. Now, normally, I would have started just plain white rice, because I will serve this over rice. But I'm making this afternoon for dinner tonight. So when it becomes dinner, because I'm going to just put this, once I get this cooked off, I'm going to put this maybe back in the spoiled pan for all I know. But get that in there. Get those cooking a little bit. And then I'll make my white rice then. But normally I would start it when I start this, because it takes about 20 minutes and this takes about 20 minutes. So let me get this finished up and I'll bring you back. Okay, now everybody in the pool. Put all of our steak, all of our broccoli, the scallion onions are already in there. Oh, it smells wonderful in here. Sounded like Julia Child. Wonderful. Get that all mixed in good. See all that beautiful stuff? And now, let's bring you forward. We're going to add our sauce. And I am gonna let that cook for a while. I'm gonna put a cover on it and let it cook for, maybe 10 minutes. And then I'm gonna turn it off and I'm gonna put it in the roasting pan so that I can just put it in my oven and reheat it and make some rice. Hang on one second. I will definitely sacrifice and make a quick, open that door again, quick little taste here because I know it's going to be good. Well, if I can get a hold of it. Yum! So tender and just so tasty. So, you really need to try this. It's a great little, as it turns out, Tuesday night dinner. Give it, I'm going to put it in, like I said, I'm going to put it in an oven, foil pan, and I'll leave it in the oven until it's time to eat. So, you have a great afternoon. Bye.